Hello and welcome to Panorama. Peace-building initiatives are at the top of strategies towards ensuring sustainable development and progress of the northeastern Nigeria bedeviled by more than a decade of conflict. To achieve an enduring peace, a wide range of efforts have been undertaken by state actors, non-state actors such as United Nations bodies, NGOs, and civil society organizations at the community levels. Some of these peace-building measures have been targeted at violence prevention, humanitarian assistance, surrender, reconciliation, reintegration, and advocacies, among other response efforts. With all hands on deck for a post-conflict rebuilding in all facets, what processes are on ground for achievement of durable peace, and how are they working to ensure social justice, law and order? This is our focus this afternoon on Panorama from the studios of NTA Maiduguri. I am Muhammad Ibrahim. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, ahead of his meeting with the new president of the country, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrived Abu Dhabi International Airport about 10:30 Thursday evening local time. On hand to accord him a befitting welcome were senior officials of the UAE government led by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Shakbud Nahyan Al Nahyan. Others were the Nigerian ambassador to the Arab nation, ministers of communications and digital economy, FCT and aviation, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, National Security Advisor, Director General, National Intelligence Agency, and other senior government officials. The Nigerian leader is here to formally convey his condolences to the government and people of the UAE on the passing of the former president and ruler of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. He is also expected to extend his congratulations to the new president, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and renew bonds of long-standing friendship between Nigeria and the UAE. Under the new leadership, President Buhari looked forward to a bigger and stronger partnership for peace, stability, and prosperity of both countries.
There are so many things that bring Nigeria and UAE together. At the personal level, when President Buhari came to office in 2015, he instantly struck the same chemistry. He struck friendship with the Prince Mohammed, the then Crown Prince, who has just been elected as president of the UAE and ruler of Abu Dhabi. Together between themselves, they have been able to bring our two countries together. They have struck a number of agreements, have been signed, MOUs and agreements up to 9. We have 8 in the works in view about to be signed. Before this time, there had never been any MOU or agreement between Nigeria and the UAE. UAE has become and has been recognized globally, not only as a financial hub, but also a manufacturing hub. They have seen the need to be on the same side with Nigeria in dealing with security, in the belief that security for Nigeria is security for Africa. We just had a new military and a naval warship commissioned for the Nigerian Navy, and it's on the sail to Nigeria as we speak now. Nigerian Army has bought more than 100 MRAPs. So there's a lot of procurement that is going on, and the relationship has been good. This visit, we are hoping, would make things even better for the two countries.
President Buhari is expected back in Abuja on Saturday. From Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law the recently passed National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2022, repealing thereby the National Health Insurance Scheme Act (CAP) N42 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. The President, Buhari, said at the signing of the new law that a fund will be set up to ensure coverage of 83 million poor Nigerians who cannot afford to pay premiums as recommended by the Lancet Nigeria Commission. The President announced that the authority will collaborate with state government health insurance schemes to accredit primary and secondary health facilities to enroll Nigerians into the scheme in order to ensure the delivery of quality health care. The new act also enables the authority and state governments to develop information management systems and digital records for better data collection, monitoring, and quality assurance. President Buhari tasked the Health Reform Committee to work with state governments, the Federal Ministry of Health, and National Health Insurance Authority to ensure the implementation of the articles in the new act. From the judiciary, the Supreme Court has adjourned hearing on the suit filed by President Muhammadu Buhari and the Attorney General of the Federation, as well as the Minister of Justice against the National Assembly on Thursday, 26 May 2022. In the suit, the plaintiffs are challenging the inclusion of Section 84, subsection 12 in the Electoral Act 2022. Daily Atumbi reports.
In the suit, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abuja Malami SAN are the plaintiffs, while the National Assembly is the defendant. The Supreme Court in this matter is serving as the court of first instance as the matter in question is between the President and the National Assembly. President Muhammadu Buhari and the Attorney General of the Federation are challenging the inclusion of Section 84, subsection 12 in the Electoral Act 2022, which bars political appointees from voting and being voted for at party primaries and national conventions of political parties. Lateef Fagbemi SAN, counsel to the plaintiff, was served with the application for joinder by the counsel to the Rivers State Government and the Rivers State House of Assembly, Emmanuel Ukwala SAN, at the court before the commencement of hearing. Counsel to both plaintiffs, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, and that of the defendant in the matter, Kayode Ajulo, did not oppose the application of the joinders. The seven-man panel of justices, headed by Justice Muhammad Musa Datijo, granted the application of the Rivers State Government and the Rivers State House of Assembly as parties in the matter. For the expeditious hearing of the matter, all court processes are to be served on the interested parties by Friday and replies latest by next week Wednesday.
To me, the matter is urgent, and since we are not allowed to reply orally, I had to make a choice, however hard or difficult. So that was what I did.
The main objection is when you believe this matter would not be filed here, and that is the main reason that what is being done, we believe it should not be here, and as a council, we'll file preliminary objection. But to go into the detail, let's wait for the outcome of the court.
It is expected that at the next adjourned date, counsel in the matter will take their turn to adumbrate and adopt their final written addresses. In Abuja, Daily Atumbi, NTA News.
Building resilience in the over a decade-long insurgency with normalcy returning and many displaced communities back home, sustainable peace is what all stakeholders in the polity are striving to achieve. What peace-building initiatives are working in the post-insurgency phase? Pauline Vanna sought stakeholders' view on that.
Northeast region, with Borno epicenter of the insurgency, is striving for the attainment of peace. Hence, government using internal mechanisms via traditional and religious leaders, civilian joint task force, ensuring full security, empowerment opportunities, and reviving civil authorities, among others, in the returning communities.
Every IDP returning is going back with some support from the government. They will have feeding for 3 months. Then they are given some grant to start off their life again. Since the return of these communities, no incidents has been recorded.
We also have a dialogue on the community where the community members are brought up on the issue of returns, how to build peace within themselves.
The voluntary return of the displaced communities was based on international best practices, with the government putting local governance structures on ground to dignify their way of life and attainment of durable peace. Religious leaders on their part have continued to streamline their teachings on tolerance and peaceful coexistence.
This insurgency, we learn a lot. So we are looking for peace and we are preaching peace. We are calling people to please let us know how to live with each other.
All the pastors in the state, the entire Borno state, and the entire members, Christians, they are obedient and they will remain law-abiding. And whatever is happening in this country, across the nation, in this Borno state, we have done our best, and there is mutual cooperation.
Peace can be built on the foundation of love, tolerance, and harmony. So, sharing better stories and promoting non-violent activities will no doubt give rise to the peace Borno is known for. In Maiduguri, Pauline Vanna, NTA News.
Thank you, Pauline. Boko Haram insurgency necessitated peace-building initiatives that have over the years metamorphosed into major efforts in de-escalation of hostilities and conflict prevention. Surrender, disarmament, reconciliation, and reintegration are new dimensions in the non-kinetic efforts in the search for lasting peace. How can we institutionalize peace-building for the entrenchment of civil authority, rule of law, justice, and equity as normalcy gradually returns? With me in the studio to discuss this issue is the Northeast Chairman, Civil Society Organizations, who is also the Executive Director, Peace Ambassador Center for Humanitarian Aid and Empowerment, Ahmed Shehu. So you're welcome to Panorama.
Thank you. Nice of you.
All right. As a peace advocate, what is your take on the peace building in the post-insurgency recovery phase in the Northeast?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. For us to clearly understand this, we have to look at the actually the history, what happened pre-insurgency and where are we now. To start with, the Northeast in particular, and Borno State in general, is having a record of one of the poorest region and state by extension, and even before the pre-insurgency area. Coupled with that, also our demographic population, the vulnerability have also compounded the situation. And then the third aspect is the issue of our position, which border us with 3 different countries that have the history of situation, and this has implication to our current status here. Well, coming back to the effect of the insurgency before we look at the post-insurgency, when you have in conflict for 13 years, you know the effect and what will bring into the situation. You have a destroy where you have to getting to 3 million people displaced. That has resulted into over 400,000 people that have lost their life, and where you have low output in terms of agriculture, where you have people that have trust and then cohesion broken. These are the effect that has brought, and for you to like pick up the pieces of your life after this first insurgency, I think there are a lot of things that needed to be done. But I think we need to like compliment every stakeholder that is on board, because currently, as you can see, as a result of the effort of the government, the security agencies, the community, the United Nations agencies, and then NGOs, currently what we have is we have communities returning back to their ancestral home. You have agricultural activities being picked up gradually. You have IDP camp being closed. You have people being sensitized to accept the repentant Boko Haram. All these are what the situation is in post-insurgency or era.
Okay, in realistic terms, how can we achieve lasting peace after this long period of conflict?
Yeah, we have to also go back to the drawing board and look at it. Why do we find ourselves in this situation? I connected it, one, to the position of the region that have borders with 3 different countries. That has implication to what is happening in the Lake Chad region now. For us to have it good this time around is, one, we have to ensure that we have good governance effectively. And now for Borno State, we are fortunate to have a governor that has passion for this service delivery. And I think this is one thing we need to address. And secondly, for a community like this that is coming out of these 13 years of insurgency, we have to like also create employment opportunities to the teeming youth, because lack of this opportunity is what brought us into this effect that we are now trying to grapple with. Then for 70% of the population are farmers, and now after 13 years without farming, people are returning back to their community. What they need is a means of livelihood where everyone has to like go back to the community to ensure that they start farming, and every stakeholder has a role to play toward ensuring that these people go back to the farm. The security agencies need to like guarantee security for people to like go back to the farm, and then the youth also need to get a means of livelihood. Then the market need to be created, the route need to be open, and then community engagement need to be improved, because lack of voice, lack of opportunity for people to like be listened to what causes this. So if we create an enabling environment, it will go a long way.
Okay, you are involved in peace building initiatives. How is your program designed, and what are the outcomes from your impact assessment of the efforts so far?
Well, thank you for this question. One thing we identify as a peace builders is opportunity for engagement, because when people are not being given the opportunity to have their say in a situation that involves peace and conflict, you're going to have an issue. So what we came up with is an initiative to create a community engagement that we call the Community Accountability Forum, where you have a forum where every stakeholders involved, both the government, the community, traditional religious leaders, will sit down together and come up with how will they solve the problem. And it has a lot of advantage currently as we're implementing. You have a situation where for the first time, the security agencies, the traditional religious leaders, the youth group and women will sit together and then discuss and then proper solution. This forum, we understand it comes up with early warning side, where people will now identify issue and response before it even happen. Okay. So for on our platform, we came up with the Community Accountability Forum, the voluntary policing sector, and then the policy dialogue in partnership with majority of actors to achieve this.
Early warning, early response. How can we lay a solid foundation for the prevention of future violence? Briefly, just a few seconds.
Okay, inclusion, everybody need to be on board. Okay. And elected representative have to be accountable to the people, and then creating voice to the voiceless.
Thank you, Ambassador Ahmed Shehu, Executive Director, Peace Ambassador Center for Humanitarian Aid, for coming on Panorama. Thank you for sharing your time.
It's my pleasure having me.
We now take a break. Panorama continues shortly.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Welcome back. Troops of Operation Hardin K have rescued 63 kidnapped victims between 20th April and 19th May 2022. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Onyako, who announced this at a news conference in Abuja, says 54,889 terrorists and their families also surrendered to troops in the northeast. Similarly, troops of Operation Delta Save and Dakatar Warao discovered and deactivated 167 illegal refining sites, as well as 156 storage tanks. Moving on, National Human Rights Commission in Borno has inaugurated a State Project Advisory Council to ensure better guidance for stakeholders on reconciliation, reintegration, and traditional justice. The council aims to address issues between repentant insurgents and host communities as they give accountability and advice towards the success of the reintegration program. Jedwa Jasani reports.
The more than a decade insurgency in northeast Nigeria has witnessed surrender of over 51,000 repentant insurgents in recent years, with the federal and Borno state government creating a program of reintegrating them into communities. Despite challenges faced by the program, National Human Rights Commission, Borno State has inaugurated a State Project Advisory Council, SPAC, with members drawn across stakeholders, ministries, community support organizations, non-profit organizations, religious and traditional leaders. Chairman of the new council, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, Abdullahi Husseini Izge, called on the members to draw from their wealth of experiences and utilize contacts in their communities to gather vital information to enable the council provide solution to relevant authorities on how best to continue reintegration and reconciliation.
The capacity, the expertise that we saw on ground, we will be able to do justice to the mandate given to us, inshallah.
Executive Secretary, NHRC, represented by Senior Human Rights Advisor, NHRC, Hilary Obonna, says the new council will aid the Commission achieve its mandate of traditional justice in reintegration and appreciated partnership with United Nations Development Programme and European Union for providing framework and funding to the initiative.
The communities stated their readiness to embrace peace and to accept and reintegrate some of these people who are returning back to the community.
Stakeholders that formed the new council pledged the availability of their time and resources to making sure those seeking forgiveness are welcomed back into communities as a means of ending the insurgency. In Maiduguri, Jadwa Jesni, NTA.
Following pronouncement of resumption of Hajj exercise by Saudi Arabia after 2 years of suspension for Muslim pilgrims outside the Holy Land due to COVID-19, preparations are in top gear by Borno State Pilgrims Welfare Board towards ensuring Hajj-free exercise this year. Yagusu Bukar has an update.
It's been 2 years since Muslim faithful across the globe were prevented entry into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for pilgrimage as a result of coronavirus pandemic. Worldwide reduction in transmission encouraged Saudi authority to resume the exercise for the year 2022. What is the level of preparations put in place by Borno State government with barely a month away from the commencement of airlift of pilgrims from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia? For an update, I have with me the Executive Secretary, Borno State Pilgrims Welfare Board. Sir, how prepared is the board towards ensuring a hitch-free exercise this year?
Alhamdulillah, we are well prepared, enlighten the pilgrim here to show them the cardinal principle of the Hajj, and we have already organized series of lectures from local government to state, and in Saudi Arabia we have already identified the hotels and the caterers, so we will go for the final MOU with them.
What is the number of seats allocated to the state, and how do you intend to share these seats, considering those that have made payment 2 years back? Is there any special consideration?
Yes, the seat allocated for us is 1,195. We will consider those who roll over for 2020, 2021 to date, because we give them the priority first. And now we have already announced, called them to come and fill their gap. Anybody fail to come and fill it, then we will forfeit his seat to another person.
With this level of place by Borno State government, it is expected that pilgrims from this part of the country will have a hitch-free Hajj exercise. It's back to you in the studio.
On sports news, Cynthia Ogun will now bring us sports update.
The Nigeria under-20 team, Flying Eagles, will be battling for regional glory against neighbors Benin Republic later today in an evenly poised West African Football Union Zone B final to be staged in Niger, Niamey. Nigeria's Flying Eagles and the Squirrels have already qualified for the 17th Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations, having emerged winners of their pool in the group phase. However, tonight's encounter will undeniably confer bragging rights and confidence on the winning side going into next year's continental final. Coach of South Africa's Orlando Pirates say the team is ready to battle RS Berkane in the finals to win the CAF Confederations Cup trophy later today at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. He stated this during a press conference in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, ahead of the final match.
So it's going to be a tough match, but we're here as Orlando Pirates to try and represent our country, try and represent our badge, try and win, so we'll give our best game.
Still on football, Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri is elated by the number of outstanding football talents in Bayelsa that sprung to limelight through the Prosperity Cup 2022. This became known as the state governor received international scouts at the Samson Siasia Stadium, where he commended organizers of the Bayelsa Governors Football Tournament for initiating such a laudable program on grassroots sports development. Away from football, the French Open organizers will make changes to their press conferences for the 2022 tournament to put players at ease after recounting Naomi Osaka's bout with depression and subsequent withdrawal last year. Now, to make the French Open a safe zone for players like Naomi, dynamics to make post-match conferences more friendly and fluid have been introduced. In the meantime, Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal were handed their worst scenario in the French Open draws after Nadal was drawn in Djokovic's top quarter. As a result, the pair could face off each other in the last 8. With Sports Update, Cynthia Ogun, NTA News.
This is all on Panorama. Remember to be a star by joining NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Have a pleasant day and weekend.